Whenever you're ready.
Okay, going to call to order this special meeting of the Board of Equalization. It's Monday, April the 29th. It's 9:30, and notice of the meeting was properly posted on April the 17th, 2024. Roll call, Mr. Brett Town.
Present.
Ms. Teresa Sellers.
Present.
And I'm Eleanor Thompson, so we're all here. We've got 15 items on the agenda, and they're all with Mr. Hayes, so. He didn't give us different numbers, we're far apart. Uh-oh.
Probably. Or he's at a Starbucks.
Mr. Hayes.
I sent it back in the 6 minutes. What was other information I need? Yeah, I don't know if I can run it.
Hello?
Good morning. Sorry, I had another meeting this morning. I had to come out of.
Okay, you're all that we have today, so you're first up. How you doing?
Oh, long weekend.
Long weekend. Okay, we got 15 items. They're all yours. Do you have any we can agree to before we start going down the list?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
We're going to start off with, and I meant to put the number of the BOE, so I purchased on the system or something. Well, I have the address 6513 Ash Terrace, R0860222185.
Item 7-264.
Okay, that's item 7 on the agenda. Number 264, the assessor has this on for $115,000. You agree to that?
No, I'm showing the assessor has
No?
111,500.
Yeah.
Oh, 111,500. Okay, is this RO860222185, right? Okay.
185.
And say the number again.
111,500.
And you agree to that? Okay.
I'd like to move on BOE 264 that we set the fair market value of the property by agreement of both parties at $111,500.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, is there another?
Yes, the next one, 5316 Bowdoin Drive.
Okay, that's item 9 on the agenda. BOE number 266, the assessor has it on for $93,000. You agree with that?
That's much less.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on BOE 266, item number 9 on the agenda to set the fair market value of $93,000 by agreement of the parties.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there another?
Yes, 2517 Southwest 67th Street.
Okay, that's,
That was 67?
yeah,
60?
that's number 10 on the agenda. Item 267.
10 and 11 look similar.
Oh, you're right. Okay, 267.
Okay, that's R1133738895. The assessor has it on for $156, correct?
Yes.
Okay, you agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I move on BOE 267 that we set the fair market value of the property at $156,000 by agreement of both parties.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is there another?
Yes, 2517 Southwest 60th Street.
Yes, that's item 11 on the agenda. BOE number 251 R1134015545. The assessor, I believe, has it on for $115. Is that correct?
I think it's BOE 268, isn't it?
BOE 268, yes.
Okay, did I give the right number? 113401545.
Yes, ma'am.
But it's
BOE 268.
okay. The assessors is at $115,000.
Yes.
You agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll move on BOE 268, item number 11 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $115,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any others?
Did I say 2512 Southeast 12th Street?
No, that's the next one. That's item 12 on the agenda. and that's BOE 269. The assessor has it on, if I'm correct, 124,500.
128,500.
128,500. You agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
I'd like to move on BOE 269 that we set the fair market value by agreement at $128,500.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any others, Mr. Hayes?
Yes, the next one, 1245 Southeast 21st Street.
Yes, that's item 13 on the agenda, and that's BOE number 270. What does the assessor have as the value for that?
124,500.
You agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
I move on BOE 270, item number 13 on the agenda to set the fair market value at $124,500 by agreement of the parties.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And the last one, 221 East Douglas Drive.
Okay, that's the last item on the agenda, item 15, 272, BOE number 272. Is it 96.5 the assessor has it valued at?
Yes, ma'am.
You agree to that, Mr. Hayes?
I move on BOE 272, item number 15 on the agenda that we set the fair market value of the property per agreement, $96,500.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We got knocked 7 off. All right, so we'll go back to item number 1 on the agenda, which is BOE number 258, 1028 Northwest 191st Street, R212, 541130. The assessor has it on for $338,000. Last year, $324,000, and the previous year, $283,000. Do you have a number other than $258,450, Mr. Hayes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what do you have?
Hold on. What number we on? I have a different number we're starting on.
1130?
And you have it at 338.
Yes.
I have it at 334.5. So
Wait a minute, that's what you want, or that's what you think the assessor is?
no, I had 3. I was thinking at 250. I have it 334.5.
Okay. Go ahead.
They provided 3 comps. I looked at our comps. They were one was too small, the 1450, and 14 a little too small. And noticing that the sale price, I noticed a big difference in the actual sale price. So I used their 3 comps. I did note that number 2, number 3 of their comps is almost 500 square foot. I'm doing it to show you the justification for using an average because of the difference between the comps. Also, number 3 is 3 years old. I mean, it's only 3 years old. So I don't think you stay in the concept of the value of 1 comp, of course, but I use the meaning of 3. And I'm starting to kind of dissect more of you guys' table from the pictures, from the couple of sales maps.
Yes.
Looking at the difference in sales, and I look at the large drop off to the second comp, which the second comp is a little slightly smaller. I look at the sales price of the second comp. You notice that the second comp, like I said, being 7 years older, 7 years, and the second and the third comp being 3 years, because of the value, the difference, literally almost 33%, at 390 and 300. So when you have that concept and you're comparing comps, I think you should use the mean instead of trying to use an adjusted value that's the median that a lot of cabs try to use. So I came in at 330.
So you just took the sales price and averaged them?
And
No,
use the adjusted.
I use it. I'm justifying why I use the sales adjusted value.
Okay,
So,
Assessor's comps.
because I think it makes more sense when you have such a different variation of sale price, $90,000 difference, 500, almost 500 square foot different, in a sale, in two different sales. So you gotta balance that somehow when you're trying to come up with a comfortable value. Just using a median sometimes is not fair.
So
It's really fair.
So you're referring to the variation in the adjusted value, the adjusted assessor's?
I'm referring to the difference in the variation in the need for adjustment, which is why I say you use the mean instead of the median.
Okay, I'll hear from the assessor.
Okay, 1028 Northwest 191st Street. Nearest major intersection is Northwestern and Danforth. The most recent sale of the property was in 2019 as a multi-property. We do have it on for $338,000. The reason why the original ask was so low was because they appealed the taxable value, which is where that $258,000 had come from. And you can see our comps, all in 23, all in the neighborhood. We have made adjustments so that they match and we're comparing apples to apples. And the price of this home falls within the range of these sales where it's currently at. So we did not change that based on this. And again, even though we're using just 3, it's a snapshot of what the sales have been doing in the area.
Is this an older neighborhood, right?
No,
No, it's not.
Yeah, the house was built
Fairly
in
new.
2015.
What's the square footage?
The square footage of this one is 1891.
Oh, okay.
Did you look at any of the taxpayer provided comps?
So the comp number 1, 18809 Rush Springs Lane, was a qualified sale. It had even more adjustments to it than the ones that we provided in the comp report, so I did not add it since it was a worse comp than what we already had. And then everything else is more than a mile out, so I did not look at those.
But that was what I saw as well, that 5 of the 6 comps were more than a mile. There was one that looked like it could be used, but even the value that they had is more than what he's asking on that one comp, so.
Yeah, and like I said, when it started doing the sales adjustments in the system, it was a lot of adjustments that were more than the ones already there, so I did not use it.
Okay, you get the last word, Mr. Hayes.
Yeah, I just think number one was that it becomes 2,200 square feet. It is in the concept of kind of built in the same year, but 300 square foot more. It wasn't built in the year. Plus it was only 15,000 higher than the value they provided.
Okay, I'm gonna close the hearing on BOE
15,000.
258. Did you have something else?
Oh, their comp 1, they used an older sale, that 353,500. The most recent sale for it was 375,000.
Okay,
That would have been used. So, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it sold again last year?
For 375?
Yes.
1. That's the number.
Yeah, the comp number 1.
Okay, I'm gonna close the hearing on BOE 258 and move to item 2 on the agenda, which is BOE 259 2309. Can you pronounce this?
Paradiso.
Okay, Paradiso Way R 212-83 1260. For 2 years, this has been 370,500. 2 years ago, it was 321,500. You have a figure other than 332,467, Mr. Hayes?
We're talking about 2309 Paradiso Way.
Yes,
I have you guys showing it at 370,500.
that's what I said. For 2 years, it was, I'm sorry, last year it was 370 even, and the year before 321,500. What do you have?
I had 366.5. That's once again using the mean. Looking at the subject property in 1925, all these are pretty much in line. Number one, sold for $343,000. Notice that all these values are all sold within a 4-month period. All these values are pretty much lower, except the sale price. Actually, there's two at 365. Like I said, I went down. I kind of paid a lot more attention now to your comparable sales map and the movement of the sales as opposed to the median. When I'm looking at one sale, much higher, albeit we all know what's going on in the property. In this case, it sold during what I didn't understand it. It said a 388. That was the adjusted sale value, but it's actually sale value, which means price is 345. The land was smaller 1 year ago. I didn't understand the total adjustments for that. I guess with the time adjustment, but like I said, even use comparable sales map. If you look at the concept of the timing and the sales map, notice that the other property dropped well below at 340. So that's why I always say that using a mean would be better, because the median seems to be always unfair to the property owner. If you really look at it, mean being 375. If you look at the highest at 388 adjusted, which I don't really always agree with, especially when it comes to the concept of time adjustment, you go down to the second concept of 371,558, the second property. Notice that the last property goes down to 340. So that's why I think you kind of, and I know you guys will say, oh, well, you're trying to say that the district, no. What I'm doing is trying to be fair to the taxpayer, whether it be me, you, or someone else, or my client. So that's why I use the mean. I can't use 365.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Okay, 2309 Pariso Way, maybe? I don't know. Nearest intersections are North Coltrane and Covell. The most recent sale for it was a multi in 2019. It did have a valid sale in 2018 for $280,000. It is on for $370,500. They originally appealed the taxable value, which is where the 332 that they originally wanted had come from. We do have a median of 371,558 and a mean of 366,700. Their comp number one is our comp number one. Then from there, everything was farther away, and we had sales within the neighborhood. Again, this is a snapshot of sales that have happened. They're all within the neighborhood. Where the property is currently valued at falls within range of the sales that we have provided, but also the sales that happened in the area as a whole.
Okay, you get the last word, Mr. Hayes.
I just looked at all the sales that they provide. They were just 4 months, and the time adjustment is really what kind of raised that value up.
Okay.
So I still the mean of the time adjustment and I'm gonna lower that.
Okay, I'm going to close 259 and open item 3 on the agenda, which is BOE 260, 8709 Southwest 37th, R21298 1950. So it's a batch sale earlier. The assessor is asking for $256,500. Last year, $245,000. Previous year, $210,500. I don't have a starting sale for this since it was in a combined sale or combined purchase, I should say. Do you have a figure other than $204,750, Mr. Hayes?
I have it at market value of $256,500. Am I correct?
That's what the assessor is asking.
No, she's saying 204. She said 204.
No. Listen, this year they're asking $256,500. The previous year was $245,000, and the previous year was $210,500. You want $266,500. If you do, you did say 266,500?
No, that,
No, it was 366.5 for the last one. This one, I'm only asking for $1,000. I'll show you why.
You're only asking for what?
255.5. Look at the, and here's what I'd like for the panel to notice what I did. I chose 1, 3, 4, and 5. I'll show you why. Number 6 is the smallest. Notice the sale price. 1373 sold in June, sold for 255. Look at this price per square foot. Look what it adjusted to. Of course, it's going to adjust higher and smaller. Number 2, I wouldn't choose that because look what it sold for. 268,000. That's the highest sold in August. Okay, look what it adjusted to. It adjusted to the highest, 265.
So you pitched the highest and the lowest.
Yes, that's what we tried to do in this concept a lot.
but it's not the highest and the lowest in cost or price, it's the smallest in square foot on one, and the other one sold the highest, so that's not apples and apples.
Okay, so now if you take 1, 3, 4, and 5 and take the mean, it actually comes out to 253. So panel, I see that. I like you to understand this. This is what I do to stay in the parameters. What I normally do. I think you've heard me say this before. I look on the adjusted value. Number 3, number 4, both have 255.5. When I see that value twice, whether it helps me or it hurts me, I like to believe in sometimes, hey, the algorithm may have got me pretty good. So I stay there. 255 rounded for both is what I asked. 255.5. Now remember the average, the mean goes to 253. But the two values that they provided 6 comps to 4. But I have to go with the value that I see the most. That's the concept of real mean 255.5 shown several times. That's the real appraisal concept. When you have a bunch of sales and you got several of them adjusting to around the same, you kind of want to stay there. Even though it's your opinion, but from appraisal standards, that's where you kind of stay. That's where you kind of draw the line. You see that value several times. So I'll be at 255.5.
Okay, we're here from the appraiser. I mean, the assessor.
Okay, 8709 Southwest 37th Street, nearest intersection, Southwest 44th and County Line. It did have a 2019 multi-property sale. And in 2018, they had a multi-property. They listed on their form that they acquired it in 21, but we don't have a sale in 21. So I'm not sure where that had come from, but we do have it on for $256,500. The original ask that they had for the 204 was because they appealed the taxable value, which was significantly lower than the market currently.
Is that just out of curiosity? So County Line and 44th South. Is that what school district is that? Brett, what is that? Okay, what is?
Mustang.
Okay.
Did you look at any of the taxpayer-provided comps? I showed they provided 30, but 10 of them were less than a half a mile, so I thought some of them might match yours.
Yeah, I did look at them. Their number 13 ended up being our number 1. And then the rest had more adjustments. The ones you see here had the least amount of adjustments dollar-wise compared to the other ones. So again, your median is 255, 657. Mean was 256, 252. The market value of this home falls within the parameters of the sales that have happened in this area. Again, we mass appraise, so we're looking at all of them.
So is there a reason that you use the mean on this one versus the previous ones? Is it because it's 6 comps versus 3, or is there some logic behind when you use the mean and when you use the It's the other M word.
Median.
Median.
So we're looking at the sales. Does this home fall within what the high and low would be, and is it reasonable? So we don't always just use the median or the mean as a singular value.
Right.
We're just trying to see what are homes doing in this area. Is this home priced fairly according to what those homes are doing in the area? It's not the highest, it's not the lowest, but it's still within range for what's going on.
But is there logic for when you use the median versus the mean?
The median versus the mean, not really. It's just we have that there so that we can see what it might be close to. Because there's some homes where we've had the median be above what the home is valued at, but we're not going to adjust the price above what the home, we're not going to raise the price of the home, but it still falls within that highest and lowest of where that home is valued at. So it's just there as parameters to show where they fall when we're setting values.
What's the age of the subject house?
9 years old, so it would have been in 2012. 2015, sorry.
Okay.
So may I say something?
Yes, sure. You always get the last word.
I really don't, I hope the appraiser will not take it personal, because I'm not mean. My experience working for CAD, when I left, they asked me what kind of critique would I like to give. And the first thing I said that every appraiser should actually go to appraisal school, period. Because to learn appraisal from math is really a detriment to understand appraisal, because we're giving an opinion of that. Basically meaning that when you go to an appraisal district, they teach you their method. But I really felt like that I didn't fit there, which is why I left, because teaching math before teaching individuals is really a detriment to the understanding of appraisal. And that's why I said an opinion of that. So when the last person asked that question, why does it use the median? That's what I've been focusing on this whole process. What I'm doing, I justify why I don't use the median, because we're doing it from a math perspective. You can come up with a value any kind of way using numbers, because numbers never lie. But when you're doing math appraisal, you're using multiple properties. Yes, you can break it down to as many as you want. You can even use the concept of one, but you got to have a reason. I always try to provide logic. That's what this is all about, your opinion, but your opinion needs to be backed by some type of logical reason. That's all I'm saying. And you really don't get that concept all the time when you're at these CADs. But when you do appraisal from an individual standpoint, being single appraisal, you have to come up with a lot, because you sign your name to that. And of course, they sign their name too, but it's still an opinion of that.
Okay. I'm going to close the hearing on BOE number 260 and go to item 4 on the agenda, which is BOE 261, 2401 Los Angeles Avenue, R213, 531190. The assessor has it on for $426,000. Mr. Hayes, do you have a number other than $340,000?
I'm at 420. I don't know how to get there. 420.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So on this property, I have a lot of notes. So on number 2.
Theirs or yours? Who's number 2? Yours or theirs?
Theirs. I use you guys. Number 2.
Okay.
So this is another concept where I always say, look at number 2. Look what it sold. Much higher than anything. 121,500 higher than it. Number 4 sale. So would you really consider that something that you would compare that property to? Absolutely not. Literally 25% higher from the sale price. So sold in June. Now we always say the price should be higher. Things are going, so that's automatically different. This is where it's kind of common sense, because we don't get the chance to go in the property. I'm willing to bet everything I've ever owned that this property is heavily upgraded. It's $210 per square feet. Adjusted sale price well over $500,000.
Mr. Hayes, are you aware of the life of the age of this property?
I'm glad you said that. Look at the other two.
No, this one. What is the age of this one?
2 years. The
Okay.
subject property is 7 years, but this property 2 years. Look at the other two. Sold right at 429, 430, pretty much the same size. That's my point. It's 60,000 and 70,000 more than those, and they sold in August. I mean, I'm glad you asked that question because I think you kind of helped me make my point. This property sold in these properties 2 months later. They sold on the same date, and they both sold around price point almost exactly the same. 1.1, 1.2. So boom, I automatically throw number 2 out. Doesn't make sense. Look at number 5. What's the difference? You're all in the same neighborhood. This is 3 square foot lower. It is brand new, but quality grade good. Look at the adjustment. Pretty much right at what the thing is. But should it be compared to my class at 7 years old and average? No, not the same problem. Not the same problem. I'm hoping I'm making my point. I really focus heavily on 4 and 6. The 4 and 6 would have lowered it even lower. Would have been around my mean would have been around 416. So I'm hoping you can. I mean, I read through these here to hope you kind of understand where I'm going.
Wait a minute. What you 6? The land square. What is the land square footage of number 6?
13,000.
And what is the land square footage of the third property?
8,000.
You always make this big deal about discrepancy, and you want to hone in on 6?
Well, not only that, comp 4 is 2,034 square feet, whereas the subject is 2,300, so there's 300 square feet difference. It's the biggest square foot difference between the 6 comps. Quickly points that out as well, so
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he's using comp 4.
So tell me one more time, Mr. Hayes, which comps are you using on BOE 261?
I'm using 4, 1, 3, 4, and 6. I mean, to be honest with you, most of these have a different variation that I can raise and lower the value. The closest one to it, actually, if you look at all these, the closest one to it from the variations is number 3, and look what it came out. It came out at 412.
Okay.
Maybe that's the number 1, but with the land.
So did you take the mean of 134? Is 420,000 the mean of 134 and 6?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you look at all these would have different variants, either by year, by quality. None of these are really in line, just about square footage. You know, some were sold a lot higher, some were brand new. So I'm definitely trying to take the mean on this because none of these, I call it true comp. Like you said, you can comp almost anything.
If you make the adjustments.
I was 2 years old, my house is 3 years old. We can comp it, but when he got his appraisal and I got mine, his was 120,000 higher than mine. So 4 million because it's brand new.
Okay.
So you gotta find a way, but yeah, what they gave us, I chose those. I came up with a mean of 420.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Okay, 2401 Los Angeles Avenue. Nearest is North Air Depot and Covell. Sorry, what?
Oh, that's way east. Is that east of I-35?
East of I-35, that 80 acres to the west of it's where we're going to be building 2
School.
schools.
Okay, so tell me again, Air Depot and Covell?
Covell.
Okay.
Had a 2019 multi-property as well as a 2018 multi-property. It is on for $426,000. The reason they asked for $340,000 was because they appealed their taxable value originally, which was, of course, lower than the $426,000. We've got our 6 comp report. Again, this is a newer neighborhood, so there's going to be some variations in year built. I did try and look at their comparable number 1 and comparable number 2. They were significantly smaller. Comparable number 1 was about 800 square feet less than our subject, and their comparable number 2 was about 700 square feet less. So the adjustments range from like 100,000 to 90-ish thousand. That's on theirs.
Okay.
That's on there. So I stuck with our comp report, which again shows that the market value of the home falls within range of what sales have been doing in the area. So we left it where it was at.
Last word, Mr. Hayes.
That'd be perfect.
Okay, gonna close the hearing on BOE 261 and go to item 5 on the agenda, which is BOE 262, 2337 Southwest 50th, R 0744 775. Assessor's asking 96,000. Previous year it was 88.5. You have a number other than 79,150, Mr. Hayes?
I have a couple of questions, but I didn't have a number, but I did hear 88.5. I'm not gonna necessarily ask for 88.5. I will tell you this, I did notice that, I couldn't find the sales that we had. And I noticed that all of these sales were from November, the earliest sales in November of 22. And looking at the, sale price of the sales, you have the range of 94 and 70. I would like to let him go first and ask a couple of questions, then I'll give a number if that's okay.
So, well, we're gonna say that you're asking for 88.5. And then, okay, and then we'll hear from, but we're not, so I'm accepting that number and now I'll hear from the assessor.
Okay. 2337 Southwest 50th Street. We are at Penn and Southwest 44th. It had a multi-property purchase in 23 and I believe a multi-property purchase in 22.
That 2022 was multi, because it didn't look like it to me.
No, you don't. They
It looked
were,
like a valid sale.
they were
That's what I
corporate
was
transfers with them.
Click back on the detail again. Oh, I'm sorry, I wrote that down. And then in 22, there was another valid sale
It was a valid sale.
for 105,000.
So that was valid.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just right after that, it was sold again.
Both in 22 though.
Yeah. But there was a valid 22 sale for 105,000. During my research for the property, I found that there was a 22 remodel, which coincides with why it might have sold for 105,000 in 22. We did not have.
You coughed.
We did not have that current remodel on there, so I made sure to add it for 25, but I did upload the pictures and everything. So with that being on there, we are going to stay at the 96,000 valuation we currently have it on for.
Can we see that kitchen again, please?
Kitchen, yeah. It wasn't a major remodel.
What's the square footage? What's the square footage?
1,015.
And you're saying that the sale in 2022 was not a corporate transfer, it was a valid sale?
There was 105,000 valid sale.
Okay.
And the 2023 value is 88.5.
Yes.
Okay, final word, Mr. Hayes.
I'm sorry, I didn't know about the sale, I agree. Sorry.
Are you agreeing with the 96,000?
Yeah, if it's over 105, that's 9,000, I agree.
All right.
I didn't have that sale, I didn't have any information on that, that's why I was kind of puzzled.
Okay.
So I will make a motion on BOE 262, item number 5 on the agenda to set the fair market value at 96,000 by agreement of the parties.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, next item is item 6 on the agenda, BOE number 263, 6301 South Hillcrest Drive, R 074 711 355. The assessor has it at 149. In 23 it was 133.5, and it was the same the year before, 120. Well, it was 123,000. I have a sale that I'm assuming was a valid sale, May of 22, for 122,000. Mr. Hayes, do you have a number other than 125,850?
Less than 1355, correct?
Yes.
I'm at 142.
Okay, we'll hear from you.
So looking at, once again, our first thing I do is I look at the sale price. Notice number 2 and 3, we got $41,000 difference in the sale price. Look at the size. But, okay. So with that being said, we got properties that are over 60 years old. The one that sold the highest, of course, is newer. So it's 15 years newer than the southern price. My client's land is pretty much the highest. And I did notice that the other two are not in the neighborhood. You know, even then, I just took the 3. Took the mean once again and came up to 142.
Which 3 did you take for the meeting?
The assessor's comps.
Oh, the assessor's comps, okay.
To me, this kind of makes sense when you have 3 and you have 1 lower, 1 close, and 1 higher. So if you notice, you have the 127, the 145, 2 close, and the median is still higher than that. So I don't understand that.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
6301 South Hillcrest Drive, near Southwest 59th and May. There was a 23 multi-property purchase. And then there were a couple of sales in 22. So it sold in January of 22 at a valid price of $130,000. Then it sold in May, which was an unqualified, and then it sold in December of 22, which was a multi. So it sold 3 times in 22.
So the May of 22 for the 122 was
I just
not
want to
valid?
reiterate, December of 22 was a corporate transfer between the same
corporate
company, so yeah.
Okay, but the May of 22 for 122, was that valid or not?
It was not.
Because it was a batch sale?
The subsequent sale of $130,000 in January
see.
was the valid sale.
I see, okay.
We do have it on for $149,000. The original ask of $125,000 was when they appealed their taxable value. I did take a look at their sales they provided as well. We originally had, I think, one of theirs in ours. Yeah, their comp 6 is our comp 2 in the original report. So I put 3 of their sales in with our 3 and still got a median value of $152,128 and a mean value of $152,860. That was using their comp 7, comp 8, and their comp 3 with our original 3.
Okay, last word, Mr. Hayes.
Once again, just look at these values. Pretty much tells you what's in. From the adjusted value of one being so low, and then the other being high, they're only, what, thousands more than the higher value. That's what the median is never fair.
Okay. So I'm going to close the hearing on BOE 263. And our next to the last item today is going to be 8 on the agenda, 265, 5208 Creekwood Terrace, R113271-620. The assessor has it on for $113,500. Last year it was $98,500. I have a sale in October of 22 of $93,000. Okay. And Mr. Hayes, you have a number other than $68,050 for your suggested price or value.
I'm at 104.
Even?
Yes.
Okay,
So on this particular one, I didn't use number, 2. With properties this small, slightly, what's lower than 1,500,
yes,
I didn't see the concept of trying to, use the value. I want you to know why. I'm gonna tell you why. Once again, I go back to the concept of, understanding of sale price. Sales indicator is what we call it in appraisal. And look at the 2 sales that are close, number 1 and number 3. Notice that number 2 is 41,000 higher, and it is the smallest by 350 square feet. I think 353, 340, something like that. Than the subject property. It is newer, 42, but it's not newer than the number 3. The number 3 sold for 105. So on this concept, just looking at your comparable sales, you notice that number 2 is a spike. Now we're talking about close to 1,000 square foot property, selling for 41,000 more than the other one's property that's 50 square foot larger. Both properties are 50 square foot larger. Because one is exactly 60 actually, and the other one is a little bit below 40. So noticing that number 2 is 952. Land's pretty much the same. It sold for almost 150,000 at 146 square feet. That's a direct indicator that it's heavily upgraded for something that's 1,000 square feet. So no, I don't use that. In this case, I use the mean of the 2, 109, 90. That's how I got my 104.
okay. We'll hear from the assessor.
Okay, 5208 Creekwood Terrace. It is near Bryant and Southeast 59th Street. The most recent sale was a 23 multi-property, and you were correct, October 22 had a valid sale of 93,000. I was curious as well with our comp report, the difference with comparable number 2 and the age. So I looked into our subject property and found that it had a remodel we had not picked up, which was a 23 remodel, where we would even change the finish converted into gross living space. So it would add almost, I think, 300 square feet to the home as well. So
But that's not reflective, right?
it's not reflective right now. I'll have to update it for next year. But you can see right there was the finish converted that's been fitted out to be a bedroom, but it was completed in 23. We just didn't know about it. No permit was pulled, so looked at that because it looked like with our comparable report that a lot of the homes were being upgraded in the area. So I wanted to make sure that I checked into our subject property. I did look at their sales they provided. Their comp 15 was a 2024 sale. It did sell in 22. And then their comp 9, it had a distress sale, but it sold again for a valid of 106,000. And then their 29, comp 29, the last one listed, was valid. So I plugged those 3 in, still came with a median of 116,818, a mean of 117,000. So what we have it on for with the 113.5 falls within range, and also it's been remodeled that we haven't picked up with this value yet, which we'll update, but I don't see a need to lower this market value because of that information.
Can you send us a copy of those comps, please?
Yeah, I've got it right here if you'd like.
You get the final word, Mr. Hayes.
I'm not too far.
Could you do
Okay.
one from before?
We do have one more, Ellen.
I know. Okay, so I'm going to close the hearing on BOE 265 and go to the last item for us today is going to be item 14 on the agenda, BOE 271, 218 East Myrtle Lane, R150102 900. The assessor, I think, has it on for 110,500. Last year it was 96,500, and then in 22 it was 70,000. I think there was a valid sale in May of 22 for 89,000. Do you have a number other than 100,300, Mr. Hayes?
I'm at 108.
Okay.
That's the mean. It was 90 last year. That's 11%. So it's 11%. I think I bet got 102, 106, and 114. Looking at the sale that's larger, sold in the last of December, sold for 97,000. So I'm 11,000 higher, and it's 200 square foot larger than stuff. So I think 108 is fair. Probably should be a little lower because it adjusted to 102. That's a real indicator in Southern property because the land is larger, same is fair, pretty much everything is same, maybe the exterior. So I'll be at 108 based off 1, 2, and 3 rooms.
Okay, we'll hear from the assessor. I'm trying to do this calculation of 96.5 times.
You're looking at the 6.7.
No, 3, okay, thanks. Okay, we'll hear from the assessor.
Okay, 218 East Myrtle Lane, near Southeast 15th and Air Depot, however you want to say it.
Air Depot and what now?
Southeast 15th.
15.
Yes, ma'am. You were correct about the valid sale of 89,022. Then we had a 23 sale that was unqualified. Corporate transfers.
And what did they give that value when they did that?
No value.
Okay.
We do have it on for 110.5. The original ask of 100,300 was when they appealed the taxable value. We have our median 106,574, our mean of 107,809. The value of the home still falls within the range of sales. While we were looking at this property, we also noticed that there was a remodel that a permit wasn't pulled for, so we didn't have it. We were able to find pictures of the inside and what it had remodeled, what it looked like. The enclosed porch is now GLA, and their bathrooms are upgraded.
How do you do a remodel without a permit? You just let somebody come in and start doing your house?
That's a good question.
Because generally, if you end up with an issue with plumbing or electrical, you made them pull a permit.
You're supposed
No,
to.
you can do a remodel without needing a permit for electrical. Then it depends on how extensive what you're doing. That's the whole
I think
concept.
it probably happens more often than we like to think.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
Well, no, wait a minute. Are you finished? You don't.
There were pictures right there. That's what it used to look
It's a
like
nice remodel.
before the remodel had happened. So it is updated in the next year for the value. But for this year, we just still have it on for what we had it on for. That with the remodel information that we had found, we did not lower the market value.
Did you look at the taxpayer comps? Because I'm sure we did have 6 that were less than a half a mile.
Yes, I did, and I used their comp 4, 10, and 11 because comp 1 and comp 2 were both distress sales.
Okay.
And with their 3 added in, I had a median value of 111,000 and a mean value of 113,000.
Can I have that one as well?
Yes, ma'am.
So you ended up with a higher value using theirs than you did when you did not.
Yes. Again, like when we do our 3, it's a snapshot of the sales, even though their home was not hitting the median or the mean, it was still within range of what was happening in the area. So by adding their 3 in, I mean, yes, it tightens the line, but it still shows they are in range of what sales are happening.
Okay, now, Mr. Hayes, you go.
I just noticed that, like you said, they don't report it, but I guarantee you that we went over properties that had conversions that it actually worked against us. So now with the way he's saying is that next year the conversions are going to work against us again. So I'm not understanding how it doesn't ever work for the property owner.
Actually, we haven't decided whether that conversion is gonna work against you. We'll make that decision on Friday. But
No, he means for next year. You're assuming for next year, they're gonna take the conversion into or the remodel and raise the value, right?
So that value's going to go up. That's why I was saying. Automatically go up to the remodel. That's why I'm saying I would hope that you kind of understand that when you see a sale price and it's been upgraded before, that's what the indicator is. That's what I've been saying on all these hearings. When you see these high 60, 70, 40,000 over the nominal concept of the value.
No, you were making an assumption in those that there had been a remodel. These two that we've had, we know there is.
they're providing pictures, they're providing proof that there was a remodel. If you could provide that proof, it would be a different story, but we're not seeing that. What I will point out also, Mr. Hayes, one thing that I noticed in all of the packages that we received from your team for this week's, your comps are a lot better. So I think your discussions with them probably helped, because we are seeing more that are closer. There's still a lot that are more than a mile, but there are more that are closer. And the assessor's office does even appear to be looking at them and pulling them in, but it's not always working in your favor. So you might want to pay a little more attention to some of your comps as well when you're doing your evaluation, because I do notice that they've changed their comp process quite a bit.
As I almost missed the meeting, answering the phone, that's what I was stressing to my principal this morning.
I think they're hearing you, because they do seem to be sending a little bit better comps.
Yeah, but you cannot send me to battle without ammunition.
Okay, so I'm gonna close the hearing on BOE number 271, and that's gonna do it for our 15 for today. Is he all that we have tomorrow? You are all that we have tomorrow, so we're gonna start straight up at 9:30 with you, Mr. Hayes. You don't have to wait for us to do somebody else, okay?
All right.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Oh, and you do know that we'll meet on Friday for all that we do this week, and you'll get our decision next week. Okay, so we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, you too. Okay, that went well to have. We had quite a few to go away. We only had to do 8, I think 7 went away. Okay. All righty, if nothing further, we'll move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Ms. Teresa, do you want the one from 6301 Hill?